Alright, third time's the charm. Hello, and welcome everyone to the recap of the third session of our Sunday Monday game on Bismark Paradox server. I'm going to try and take a little bit of a briefer overview. About 80 years or so have passed since the last recap, so we've had quite a lot of action. We've lost a fair few players, and we're going to go ahead and start off in Western Europe with a quick look at Andalusia. The Morocco player we saw at the start of the last session was fighting against Tunis, who appears to have died. Andalusia taking over the whole of that Tangiers area and moving in to the Castile AI and taking a nice chunk out of Portugal. I'm pretty sure this Portugal is a dead nation now, and the player has moved on to the colonies, which are not quite large enough to really be super interesting. So we will not take a big look at the New World yet. They're just starting to consolidate their colonial eras. Maybe by the end of the next session, they will start to be able to be world players. You see, he's a little bit behind on his ideas. It seems he's not finished his economics or his quality, mainly probably because he's had a lot of land to be coring, but that's fine. How is oh yeah, and he still has these really juicy Andalusian missions. I know as you get further down and as you conquer more of Spain, you get quite a lot of free monarch power, quite a lot of good military missions, so that's nice for fighting wars. He's not yet starting to get his crown land up. I suppose that should probably be his next major goal for what he's doing. He is not making a huge amount of money. I guess the colonies, now that if Portugal is dead and they're independent, they're probably not sending all of that New World trade goods here, so he's also only got about 60% of the node itself, so probably if he's able to upgrade some of these centers of trade and take that last estuary province from Portugal, he should be making quite a bit of money even without that New World cash. His buildings are really expensive. Is that... not sure why his modifier is so high, but he's got quite a bit of building still to do for his yeah, a lot of manpower buildings can be built. How is he on his manufactories? Doesn't seem to be able to build many yet. He's got, yeah, a whole lot of grain provinces, so his manpower should be absurd once he gets the tech for that and money to put them down. His manpower right now is a little lackluster at 100. Holy crap, that is some really high inflation. If he gets that down, that should be increase his income by a pretty good amount. I guess that's why his buildings are so expensive. So does he have an... yeah, he does have the inflation advisor, so that might be... yeah, that's going to be expensive to really buy down, so I think inflation that high is a bit of a problem, so I don't know if he'll be able to do much for a while. But as it is on alliances, he appears to be friends with Sicily, who I assume he doesn't want to be having his coast raided, and then just friends with Netherlands and Persia. Persia probably... yeah, probably a decent ally, although they don't yet share a border, so I'm not sure how easily it is they could assist each other in the event of war. Andalusia obviously sharing some border and probably territorial ambitions with France. This dead Iberia is a great opportunity for both of them, and right now I think with the state of his economy and everything else, Andalusia probably wants to be friendly with France. I don't think they could take them on in a war, so if I suspect that they should probably try and either make friends with France or find their enemies, likely Austria or Milan, although Milan is currently allied with France, but make some sort of deals for mutual protection with some of the Europeans, and or just make a border deal with France. Like, I don't know if this is aligned where it is, but I definitely think you should do your best to at least get this state out of the deal, the rest of Portugal. As for that trade province is that's about 10% trade power in the node, or would be 10% of your trade power. It's 50 trade power with only level 1 out of your current 420. As where you go from here, I guess it's mostly just increasing your crown land and then start selling to the nobility. You can also, what's it called? Do your best to start buying down your inflation, finish your idea groups, do some deving. You don't have the best provinces to dev in North Africa. Drylands are not the worst, but quite a bit of drylands and grasslands in your Spanish holding, so that should probably be where you want to start pressing those buttons. And are you good on autonomy? Yeah, autonomy's good. So got some problems, got some ways to expand. Hopefully you don't get sandwiched between Songhai and France, but you can probably gobble up the rest of Tunis. And then you just need to sit for probably 20-30 years and get your nation in a little bit more order, and then you're looking quite good. So let's move on to France, who says this looks like a very, very strong France. He's got 200k manpower already. He's built up to force limit and still making quite a bit of money. Where's all that money's coming from tax, huh? Alright, well, if it's working, I guess you can't complain too much. Income 110, not too shabby. How's this military quality going? Morale 4.6, not the worst, but that is some high discipline. So that army is looking quite scary. Maybe even better quality than Prussia at this point, if Prussia hasn't finished their ideas. But France, they have theirs. They've got their elan, they've got their discipline, they've got their eco quantity quality. So this nation's looking strong, ready to battle. Has basically no autonomy, which is fantastic. A little bit over governing cap, so maybe you can start burning some of that tax development. Yeah, you can probably earn a lot of money by just starting to eat into that tax and build up some manufactories, as France has quite a lot of cloth provinces. Yeah, you've got a whole bunch of good cloth provinces, and you should have some iron provinces to build manufactories on as well. And as they start becoming available, you need to start looking at all of these provinces that don't have building slots, all these yellow provinces for your manufactories. Not all of them are super relevant yet, but here you see we've got a farmlands province. You can quite cheap. You can either dev that up or go ahead, kill your church, so that you can then build a cloth manufactory on that. As with as many slots as you have for those manufactories, you're in there. France could probably easily get up to 200 income in 20-30 years if they get those manufactories rolling. They are starting to inch up their crown land as well, which is fantastic for them. Probably eventually want to get this down, but diplomatically, I know they have a huge web of alliances and friendships. Surprisingly to me, they are friends with Milan, even though Milan obviously would want to try and unite the rest of Italy, and France has possession of the Naples personal union. So I'm curious if Milan, who seems to have taken some land from Austria in the Venice node, thinks that it's better for them to move in this direction with France's help than to turn against them and try and move in this direction. They all, talk about Milan more later. We are also friends with the Netherlands, who I am curious if they want to set out some sort of trade deal in the English Channel, as the Dutch are currently beating the British, which is would be great for France, although they are friends with both of them, so that's somewhat interesting. I would normally expect it to be one or the other, but likely France probably just wants to continue eating the rest of Iberia. I don't know. They might want to try and fight Andalusia if they think they have their other flanks secure, or they can start trying to push into what's left of the HRE, as we do have the two. Basically, we have 4 states more or less in like the North Germany region fighting for the last bits of land. No one down here yet who's really there's one province here, while Austria has taken some of them. So France can potentially move into Switzerland, who is not protected by anyone other than the Emperor. So they're mostly locked out of Europe. So unless they are going to fight one of their allies or Westphalia, then the only other way for them to go is Andalusia. So yeah, they definitely seem to be living up to the reputation of the French as a massive scourge, boogeyman of Europe. Meanwhile, we can look across to Great Britain, who seems to be the only living colonizer with the assumed death of Portugal. Do we have any British colonies up? We have Leon as our vassal, who has some colonies in the Caribbean. That's interesting. What are the British ideas? British, okay. We have gone for quality, economic, and maritime. That's interesting. So he obviously wants to be naval power by rushing up for this morale of navies, but I am not sure if he's going to have the income for it. Because as we see, he's currently losing out pretty big time to the Dutch in terms of English Channel. So he's only making 14 ducats from there, and it's only 30 total in the Channel, which is not great. I think he might be going about this slightly the wrong way. But then again, I don't know if he is planning with this French alliance to support him and into being a land power a little once more by moving into Sweden. That could be something he wants, although I think that might put him in conflict with 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, possibly 6 other countries if that's where he's going. So that's slightly questionable for me. No one really has gotten colonies up in the New World just yet, the 13 colonies area, which is quite rich, or Canada. I guess there is a Norwegian settlement there, so might be better for if he had gone for that first and then picked up the maritime later, because as it is, I think he might be suffering a little bit from a lack of money to support his navy. We can see let's go in here. What is his naval capacity? Okay, so he does have quite the huge fleet of heavies. He's at 25 right now, and he's building another 7. So there is still, at this moment, he's unquestionably the naval power, but I don't know if going forward he'll have the money to support this. Does he have a lot of light ships? I didn't look at that. No, he actually does not have any light ships. So that's probably partly why he's getting so badly beat by the Dutch. And so he does have his flagship. Where is your flagship, my friend? Oh no, or do you just not have the money for a flagship? Because yeah. Okay, so perhaps what you should do first, since you don't have your flagship, you need to build a flagship with your trade power thing. Build some light ships and start protecting trade to just boost your income a bit, as I think with your superior naval force limit to the Dutch, at least for now, you should be able to beat them out in the English trade channel and use that money to fund your navy, fund your wars, or whatever it is you intend to do. 'Cause as it is, I think you're looking a little bit on the weak and poor side. Your army is 5 times smaller than the French army, just about. Your manpower is not really relevant. So yeah, if you're going the pure navy route, you do not yet have, I think, the income to do it. You don't have any colonies yet either, so once again, I don't know what the plan is, but those are just my observations from here. So otherwise I think, you're going to need strong alliances, which we seem to have with France, to help push yourself forward, especially if maybe the best thing for you to do is convince France that you're going to be a better ally to him with the Netherlands gone, and gobble up what you can. So, speaking of gobbling up the Netherlands, let's move on to him, which, what is Netherlands tag? I feel like I should know it, but I've forgotten. And of course, Ned. So, alright. Move on to the Netherlands. We seem to be making a good amount of money. Yeah, huge amount from trade, as you are definitely the winner in this channel trade node. You've got 40 light ships protecting. And currently no... Wait, that's the wrong thing. No, you do have some heavies. Okay, do you have a flagship? No, you do not have a flagship. So, I definitely would make the same suggestion I just made for Britain. You should probably build a flagship and make sure it has this trade route map with it, and attach that to your trade fleet. That gives you an extra 40 trade power, and then it goes up if you have an admiral in the fleet as well, which, unless you're on your limit, as my screen freezes a little bit. Oh, you do have plenty of admirals, but none protecting here, so put one with maneuver. Oh, whoa, your leaders are way over. What is up with that? Not quite sure why this is here, but I think you should probably fix that, as losing 3 military points, not the best thing for you to do. As you are, I suppose you just had an event, or you pulled in land, which is fine. Your crown land is quite high, so you'll soon be able to push up your manpower beyond what it is, relatively weak. Your ideas, you've gone for quantity, eco, quality, so you're planning to be on the ground, or a bit of a, try to be what land power you can. Are we friends with, you are currently friends with all of your neighbors, so maybe what you should do is try and go the colonial route. You know that England hasn't done it yet. The Portugal player is basically dead, so you might be able to grab yourself Canada and or the 13 colonies if you go for that before the English do. So I think that might be a good idea group to grab next. Although it's going to be a little ways off before you can set that up, but that might be your best way, because if you are going to stay friends with Westphalia and stay friends with France, your only real way for it, well, you've got you've got 6 extra provinces that are theoretically yours, although you could easily see either of your 2 allies wanting some of them for themselves. You could also, once again, maybe try to push into Sweden or convince France to help you with Great Britain, although their navy is currently quite a bit more heavy than yours, so that might be difficult to get over there. Although I'm sure there might be a way for you to sneak on to, say, Ireland or one of the North Islands, land a force before his boats can stop you, and then just buy a bunch of mercs. But don't know how viable that is. As for your buildings, you should be, you do have most of your buildings up, can build a few more of those. Your barracks are everywhere, so that is great. How regimental camps as well. And how are you? You do not have the tech yet for your manufactory. So you likely need to get that next, and that'll let you. I mean, basically every province you have is cloth. Should also check out all of these yellow provinces and make sure that you can either dev them up, or you can delete these temples, which don't really scale too well, and replace them with manufactories. So you're a little bit boxed in, which is why I suggest maybe if you go the colonial route, you're way too far into your quantity ideas for it to really be feasible to abandon it, because that's like 1,600 points you've already sunk into it, and you don't exactly have a whole lot of Diplo points just sitting around. So what is it? There's no player in Kilwa. If Portugal is dead, you can also probably steal some of their colonies. They're getting the Cape now, and with no East Asia player, that is quite a lot of provinces to grab and dev, as they are steppes, a lot of these, so they're not too bad to develop. So with that said, let's move on to your neighbor, Westphalia. Seems to have most of Western Germany to themselves. I know they were played by AI for a majority of last session, so we see the AI took diplomatic ideas, which I assume that is going to be, say, fixed into something else. And we are, what are we? We are a theocracy, and we seem to be quite a bit of the ways down into it, which is good. We've got all of these nice fighting reforms, a lot of morale, so your army score should be quite high. We're not paying for the troops, so it's low. Let update if we do that. Alright, it doesn't seem to be so high just yet. Once we start getting some policies and fixing other things up that the AI has done, looks like they haven't sold off too much of your crown land, as I think you were starting to save that up. As for buildings, your country seems to be going quite well in that direction. Got a lot of your workshops and your barracks up. You can start building up some manufactories as well. So you are likely looking to be in a pretty strong spot. Although this land isn't necessarily the best for deving, as most of it's woods. You've got your neighbor, the Netherlands, to your west. We are allied with the Commonwealth and not France and the Netherlands. So, diplomatically, this appears to me to be a little bit of a worse spot than others, but you are definitely stronger on the army front. You have about 100 force limit. So, yeah, likely you need to continue eating everything that you can in this region. Depending on how friendly you are with Austria, I know as you're in the HRE, you can't really stop you, but if there are border agreements, then... Oh, wait, there's a coalition. Interesting. But yeah, so you have Prussia here to your east, you have the Netherlands to your west, as well as France, Sweden to your north, and Austria to your south. So this is going to be a difficult way to negotiate your way through. I recommend trying to stay peaceful until you can at least hopefully claim most of the rest of this land. The Commonwealth ally is probably a good one for you if you want to try and take over parts of Bohemia and then Austria itself. That could be a good direction to go, as Commonwealth eats into Hungary and Prussia into Bohemia. That could be a beneficial alliance. You could also try to go north with Commonwealth help, but if Sweden is being protected by Russia, that's going to be a tough nut. Netherlands also seems to be fantastic land. They've spent lots of time deving and building it up for you, but if they are backed by France, that is also difficult. So you are a medium power surrounded by a few other medium powers and then a world power. So it's, yeah, if you can pick 2 world powers, you should do that. Otherwise, it's find one of the bigger guys to support you and hope that you pick the right one and that they don't betray you, as your central position leaves you a little bit exposed to attack from all sides. Well, let's move on to your northern neighbor, Sweden. Getting a disaster? Oh, it's just a Pluto crew. No one actually cares. Oh yeah, and we are an Orthodox Sweden, of course. Not yet getting the High Crown land. That should probably be your next priority. Go ahead, look at ideas. Anything interesting? Nope. Just the bog standard. And damn, those 20% ICA is pretty good. We seem to have gotten all of Scandinavia to ourselves, as one would expect, and we have most of Livonia. We are currently only allied with Russia, which in this game might be the only ally that you need. I understood that Commonwealth and Russia started off as friends, but their friendship has now devolved into merely a non-aggression pact. So, curious if when that expires, there is the possibility of Sweden and Russia going in against the Commonwealth to claim some of the land. Obviously, Russia would want like all of the Ukrainian land, some of the Lithuania, and I don't doubt that Sweden would quite like this East and West Prussia bit to finish up their control of the Baltic trade node, which is, yeah, pretty reasonably rich right now. Not the most that it could be. Your buildings, how many manufacturers can you get? It doesn't seem like you have a lot going on in terms of manufacturing for these techs. You got some iron and some copper that you can build up, but that's not really that much. So you're probably not going to be the richest country there is. Yeah, you're at 60, which is not too much worse than than those around you. Your force limit actually lower than Westphalia for now, so likely you need to be doing some deving to help push that up. So yeah, we don't have too much going on here. I guess all these Danish lands should be quite good. They're all grasslands and some farmlands down here as well. So that probably what you want to be doing. We do not yet have eco finish, so yeah, probably just bank up some points in Diplo and Mill so that you can, once you finish your eco ideas, you can turn on those edicts, turn on those policies. Yeah. Oh, and you don't have prosperity yet. That's probably something I should have checked. Yeah, but this is probably going to be your most dev focused area. And as for Lubeck, you're also actually making quite a bit of money here, so you're collecting in both Lubeck and the Baltic, which, yeah, seems to make sense to me. But yeah, devastation. You seem to be really missing a lot of your prosperity, but I suppose if there was a war, that is the natural casualty. Also, I'm curious. Here is Norway, and they are a vassal of Sicily. So that would be worrying. Where are you? Also, I would bring your point back to the fact that Norway has got a colonist and is starting to colonize the New World. So, were I you, I would try to seek to... I don't know how practical it is, but if you could somehow snap up Norway and make them your own vassal, and have them start colonizing the new, Canada for you and sending the money back to the North Sea, I would. Governing capacity, ooh, yeah, quite low. We don't really have that much development in this region, so yeah, solidly a mid-tier power, which similar advice for, I guess, Westphalia and the Netherlands. You need to, you've already seem to have found someone strong who's going to back you up, and the thing with you really only have two directions that you can go. You can go south into Germany, or you can try and jump into Great Britain, which, with his amount of heavies, is probably impractical, but sneak force by mercs with Russian help, that is always a possibility. So, with that, let's go ahead and actually move on to the Prussians. So, you see, Prussia is still a subject of the Commonwealth. Doesn't really seem to have worked out all that great for you, as we're not really sitting on that many more provinces than what we started out. Like, we've taken Pomerania, we got one province from Teutonic Order, and there's two more in the HRE, so this is relatively on the low end. Our army force limit not too bad considering our small size, but I doubt we are going to be making a lot of money. Yeah, our money is at 35, the lowest that we've seen, so very doubtful that you'll be able to afford a full cannon stack going forward. If you are willing to play the loyal vassal of Poland, hopefully that works out for you, as there seems to be quite a bit of competition here. That's why I didn't notice that Sweden had those two vassals. Is Bremen independent too? No, they are not. But yeah, once again, surrounded by everyone in this Eastern European Thunderdome. Obviously, you would like some of this Bohemian land or move into more of Lubeck, but you're kind of, you're stuck to how strong the Commonwealth is and how much, and at their mercy for how they support you. So, you are making some money now, but missing an advisor, maybe they just died or something similar, and my game appears to have frozen. There we go. Alright, back to... So, yeah, the only thing you can be doing here... Ooh, you have a lot of force limit buildings you need to be building. Maybe ask Poland to start funding you on these as... Yeah, this is a couple thousand extra manpower, and then plus with your modifiers, so you should be able to do that. Fair bit, yeah. A lot of things to build up. You actually have a good bit of cloth provinces in this region, which should help as well. So, yeah, hopefully you can get subsidized or by someone friendly and get stronger. You almost have 100% crown land. Oh, you are starting to sell it to the nobility, so that is good for you. You can, yeah, start boosting up that manpower. Relatively low for now, but based on your size, very strong. Yeah, you're getting those god tier kings as Prussia, so your military dev should also start shooting up, and you're fully militarized, which means you are bloody goddamn annoying. Where's your army quality? Here we go. Yeah, discipline's only 10%. So I guess you haven't finished those discipline ideas. Morale's still relatively low. But yeah, okay. That's expected. So yeah, you'll get your 5% discipline once you finish your ideas, and yeah, just a few away from 10% extra, although you're still behind the French on that discipline-wise, but with advisors and events and some other things that will be coming, you'll be able to get that. But no, not too much to say otherwise. So let's move on to Austria, who, as I understand it, they had a Bohemia player as playing their ally, and they also had a Hungary player as their personal unions, rather, not their ally. So Austria, I also understand, has been fighting a few wars, and they don't really seem to have gained that much from it. Actually, it seems like they have lost a few cores. They lost some to Milan. They've lost parts of Albania, weirdly. But, and they have lost all of their prosperity, so their money should be not looking too hot. Yeah, like just barely 50 ducats. They don't have most of the Venice trade node. Eesh. Yeah, and it's quite poor. They're not able to send much money here. So, oh, we're collecting back in Vienna again. So, yeah, we're not going to be looking too hot on money with that area lost. Obviously, we're probably enemies with France and the Commonwealth, but with friends in Jerusalem and maybe Byzantium, I don't know. But if your only friend is Jerusalem, I think that might be a little bit rough. Lots of land in Bohemia for you to eat up. I think, as things stand, you probably should. No one can really get in your way. And we are still Catholic. Yeah, we're still Catholic. Should once all of these Bohemians are devoured, I don't know if being the Holy Roman Emperor really matters so much. You can get on one side of the League War and maybe reclaim it later. But yeah, you're not looking the hottest, are you? Yeah, you're not really able to afford the best advisors. How are you doing on buildings? That was not what I want. Okay, you've done quite well on your buildings. Yeah, got on all your manpower, all your manufacturers or workshops. Manufactories, you can start putting down some iron, but the cloth ones are not yours to be taken just yet. Ideas, yeah, the bog standard normal stuff. And army force limit is quite good, especially when you get your Bohemian and Hungarian subjects in the mix. So that's 100k from you. If that's 80, then 200 plus another 80 there. So looking at close to 300 force limit if your subjects are cooperating. So yeah, definitely still probably the strongest army in Europe, including your subjects. But what is the problem is if you're going to keep these players on as your own subjects, you don't have that much more land of your own. Your interior lands are quite well developed and built up, so I don't necessarily know if you want to be looking for a fight and help your subjects expand into the Commonwealth. Probably just start eating up as many of these miners as you can. And that may be the best way for you to scale up. As for your estates, yeah, you've not yet really been able to start selling to your estates or building up your crown land. I assume you have, with all the wars you had to sell quite a few times. You're not in debt, which is good. So you're still quite strong now, but I would be worried about finding a way to get stronger. Obviously I think you would want your Italian land back to take over the Venice node. I think that is the best way for you to move forward, but that probably means you have to fight France, and if you're fighting France and Commonwealth is your enemy, they might use that to pounce on you, and I don't think you, with your one ally of Jerusalem, can currently take on a two-sided war. Perhaps you can make friends with Russia and or Sweden. Sweden's not the strongest, but if they're able to threaten occupying, moving on Prussia from the north and the Commonwealth, that might help keep you a little bit safe. But yeah, you definitely need at least one or two other player alliances to really secure your way forward. But until that can happen, this is free land that I would not want to let Cologne get. I believe you should be able to snag up all Bavaria, most of Franconia before he can. And he is allied with Commonwealth, so that's not someone you can easily fight for a bunch of land. So another country in the East European Thunderdome being stuck and surrounded by dangerous things. Let's take a quick look at his subjects. So let's take a quick look at Hungary. So Hungary, pretty good, making more money than his emperor, partly from all that gold. Not really banking up the crown land just yet. Force limit, he's built up to it, and he's starting to drill up. I assume from whatever war just happened, he had to empty that. I've also been told that he's done quite a bit of development. He started to push everything up to 10. He's not quite there yet. But, he pushed this gold mine up to 13. And how much is Kosovo? Up to 9, so 13 may be a little bit higher than you'd ordinarily want it to be, but far from bad. So with all that money, you can probably afford some better advisors. The Austrian king is not great, but the heir is fantastic. So Austria should immediately abdicate as soon as that button is available. I don't know if it is yet or not. How are we doing on those buildings? Lots of workshops, starting to get those manpower ones, but his manpower dev has not really happened yet, and manufactories are not really a thing that Hungary knows about. They only have these two cloth provinces, so that's kind of a bummer for you. You've just got to wait for your soldiers' households, and your income is not likely to get much better. But I mean, I don't really know how to offer Diplo advice for the subject nation. Like, are you going, if you're gonna just keep playing as a subject and have Austria never inherit you? I'm not sure what your goals actually are, so I think I will leave it at that, and I'll take a quick look at Bohemia, who has added a few provinces since we last looked at them, but they should be looking pretty much the same as Hungary. Yeah, just a little bit lower on the force limit. Manpower, not the best in the world. They have done a great job of building up their workshops, manpower as well. Next thing we can start looking at some manufactories. We've got some iron, we've got some cloth that should be available. As for our ideas, it's the typical three, and I'm not really sure what else we can say. Obviously, were a Bohemia player, you'd be trying to figure out your alliances and where you can push. Probably got some land here that Austria can help them take, but you've got to wait for your overlord to deck those wars. So let's move away from the Austrian sphere into Milan. So Milan is allied with Sicily. Makes sense to be friends with the pirates. You don't want your long Italian coast, very rich, to be raided if you can avoid it. You're friends with Byzantium and France. You have all of northern Italy, which is pretty damn good. Your manpower is massive. It's double the two personal unions that we saw, more than Austria as well. How is your force limit? Also quite a bit higher than those two countries individually. So you have done a great job of developing up your nation. Your monarch is kind of crap, but in your Republican tradition is low, so I suppose you're just going to not elect this guy, wait for a younger one, and then start pushing his stats up again. Starting to get your crown land up. Your estates look nice and proper. Yeah, and we are the Ambrosian Republic, correct? We are. Not quite all the way done here. How are we on the governing? Yeah, we have quite a lot of more land you can eat up. So, being allied with France, and after taking these provinces from Austria, I assume that this is the direction that we're wanting to go. We are not a member of the HRE now, are we? No, we are not. So, yeah, maybe, perhaps, oh no, yeah, you have to fight the Emperor for that if he deigns to protect Switzerland. But, that's really the only non-player controlled land you can go for now. If you're able to take more Switzerland, expand your mountain forts out a little bit more, that would be nice. Yeah, you can munch on the Pope when he's not allied to Austria. Take a quick look at the ideas. Yeah, they're all well and done. Good. I assume that your buildings are going to be pretty well done. Yeah. Got a few more workshops you can build. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, manpower is mostly built. Force limit is partly built, so some more that you can make. And money-wise, we are doing really, really, really well. We're only on about 600 dev, but we're making quite a bit more money than a lot of other countries we've seen. So probably you should spend that money on promoting some of these advisors here, I think. And, oh, probably also maybe, yeah, you should definitely promote some of these cultures. Or are you able to form Italy? You are able to form Italy. I'm somewhat curious why we haven't clicked this button yet. I guess it's up to you whether or not you want to take those ideas. Milan ideas are quite nice. ICA, some manpower, tech cost, trade power, and the dev cost. Meanwhile, we look at Italian ideas. We get the trade power. We get some more manpower. We get some ICA. But we don't have the tech cost. And some of the other things. And improve relations is kind of crap. So I think it's... along with the galleys. So I think it's debatable which ones are better. But I think probably the real... Oh, and that doesn't give you empire. Okay. Huh. I assume that forming Italy gives you empire rank. And why I was thinking that was the best is so that you could immediately have all of these other Italian cultures automatically accepted. As they are currently not. You're probably losing out on some manpower, some tax. So it's probably just a good thing to pick the two highest ones, promote them quickly. We're not exactly behind on tech or ideas. You lose out on a bit of dev, but I think that's going to boost your manpower up by a bit more, and that is well worth it. And you should be able to get your manufactories up. Okay, yeah, I think you've built the ones that you can. There's one iron province, and then the rest you wait for soldiers' households and some higher techs. Yeah, being allied with France, I'm curious how you think of Naples. If that is going to be your land eventually in return for your support, or that's going to stay France and you're going to have to look to Austria and Hungary for your new expansion route. So this seems to be a pretty good position for you, as Austria is nice and sandwiched between you, France, and the Commonwealth. It's just whether or not you want to be able to arrange that. So, yeah, being Austria, I would be slightly worried, as we're have the classic East European problem of being in the middle of everyone who wants to try and kill us. So let's move on to Sicily, rather. They are immediately. So the Sicilian pirates have done a pretty good job of grabbing bits and pieces of land. They have most of the other islands in the Mediterranean. They are... I thought they had this province up here, but I think they may have lost it. And they have a vassal in Aragon, which... were I the French, I probably wouldn't be too happy with that, but being that Sicily is basically allied with everyone who isn't a crusader, I'd say that they probably don't care. And the other thing, we do have Norway as a vassal, which is quite nice to export the pirating ways by proxy into the New World. I'm also curious, now that Portugal is dead and Castile basically is as well, maybe you can snag up a few more islands and start pirating along the Ivory Coast. So, seems to be normal pirating stuff. You're still kind of small and kind of insignificant, but you're very much able to make everyone your enemy or your friend by just raiding and making lots of money. See, classic pirate economy. Losing massive amounts of money, not really making anything, but just pressing that raid button is all you really need to do. So yeah, you can probably also grab more of the African coast. Although that might piss off Andalusia, but if they break their alliance, then you just raid them. So yeah, let's look at that devastation. Yeah, see? No one with a coast on the Mediterranean, aside from France and Italy, have any amount of prosperity. And that's just how pirates are going to be. And ooh, England still has no prosperity. Don't know what went on there, but that's bad.
Yeah, so man, I'm the Sicily player. If you want me to talk about how my game's been going.
Yeah. Oh yeah, go ahead.
So last session, I get or at the end of last session, I get a message from the Swedish player asking me to go to war against the GB player. Promise me he'll give me a province in Ireland if I help him land there.
Mm-hmm.
As it turns out, the Swedish player, he couldn't play this session, so he got a sub, and his sub goes to war against GB. I pack up everything I have, build all my ships, go way over my force limits, and I sail over to GB, sink the English Navy, blockade everything. And Sweden pieces out for Norway, Iceland, and gives me jack shit. Gives me absolutely nothing, and I was beyond pissed. I am extremely salty.
So
apparently, this was
by a sub?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, indeed. And apparently, this was a backdoor deal by the GB and Sweden player. So, in case you haven't noticed, I've kind of built up my navy a little bit. And I'm gonna rain hell on the British Isles and take my rightful Irish province.
Okay, so I think so you've been able to do some nice raiding here, have you?
I have not been able to raid anything.
No?
I think that's just because the GB player, I don't think has had. If he has had prosperity at any point, it definitely went away in our war, where I blockaded the entire Isles.
Yeah.
That being said, I think the average monarch skill of the GB player has been well below 9.
Well, that's rough for him.
Yes, sir. Also, my bad completely. I purposely released Aragon, but I accidentally forgot that he had cores over those island provinces, so I really boned myself.
Wait. Yeah, well, I think you can probably beat the British Navy. They've got more heavies than you, but you've completed your maritime ideas and you've got all your pirate.
I'll probably build another 5-6 ships before I go to war with them in earnest.
Yeah. Well, I've never actually looked at the ideas that you get as pirates.
The pirate republic thing is pretty strong. I've been able to field very good pirate kings this entire game. In fact, that one that you're sitting on right now, I recently had to go back and switch from whatever the one to the left of one I have selected is, and I switched over to War Against the World because that gives me a free, pretty much imperialism CB against everybody.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, I had Pirate King before, which is a very good idea, especially if you're not trying to be super expansionist like I was.
Yeah, fire is really good.
That War Against the World CB is why I'm able to have Sweden or Norway as my vassal right now.
Okay, yeah, because otherwise that would be a no CB war, right?
Oh yeah, and I don't know if we allow no CB wars against players. I personally don't do no CB wars against players personally, just because I don't think particularly fun.
Yeah, that's well. I guess, was he dead at this point?
Was he dead at this point?
The Norway, because he was a player, right?
No, Norway. I don't think was ever a player. I think Sweden's always been a player. That one province actually was owned by Netherlands, though, and they were bros and released Norway, and I was able to gobble them up. pretty much instantly.
Okay, that's fun. Well, yeah, you've got some interesting things that you can definitely do. Like, what is it? Yeah, you don't have the army to fight Britain, but you can definitely like make his life miserable. Like, like if you were to integrate Norway ever, then you can just raid all of the coast.
Well, I don't need to fight Britain. I just need to land on one single island.
Yeah. Yep.
And, I think you know what that island is.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. He doesn't appear to have the fort in the Irish crossing.
That's meaningless anyways. I just need to put a man on the Isle of Man, and it's over. It is GGGB.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, I'm supposed to be in a geology lab right now, so I'll let you go.
Sure.
Always appreciate these videos, man. They're always great to watch.
Hey, thanks. I'm happy to make them. They can be fun to do, and they give me something to do as well.
Oh yeah, it's always great to watch them to prepare for the games.
Yeah, it's like having a spy. All right, so with that said, let's quickly take a look at Byzantium. Byzantium, we are allied with Italy and the Commonwealth. I believe that we are friends with Jerusalem, although we are currently not. And we have the snakiest of snakiest Georgian vassals, which I cannot imagine Persia being happy with, so I assume this is going to be our natural enemy. Although no friendship or no relations with Austria might be a bit of a problem. Let us go ahead and look at our money is really quite terrible, our money. Yeah, our production is non-existent. We're behind in ideas. Uh-oh. What has happened here? Have we just gone... Yeah, okay. So we've got awful crap tier king, and heir is barely better, but still not good. And what is... Oh, and we have no crown land. That's why. Yeah, I think I was hearing things how Byzantium might be dead. And I think that might be true unless he gets some help. And oh, here you go, my screen freezing again. But yeah, this seems to be a rough spot. I guess there was some wars fought that needed the selling of all crown land, and early on, it's not the worst thing to have 0 crown land, and then you get the estate buff that that sets your minimum autonomy in all your provinces to 25. That's obviously not good, but if you just did that in like the first 5 or 10 years, there's plenty of time to recover from that, especially since a lot of your provinces anyway would have a high starting autonomy. But what's our average autonomy now? Average autonomy is actually not that high yet. So we do have quite a few provinces. Probably want to click those down, although I know with this small amount of money, that will be somewhat difficult to fight too many of them. Your army force limit is respectable at 100, but yeah, the money is the big thing. If you're not able to build up your force limit itself doesn't matter. Yeah, so you were not able to build basically any manufactories, or workshops rather. So, and without those you couldn't fund any barracks, and manufactories are not something your country will be able to afford either. You don't have, you're behind in the tech, so I don't really know how that happened. Like, your monarchs must have been truly terrible, or you had a couple really, really, really rough wars in order for that to happen. I mean, you have been coring a lot of land. So I don't know if you had a vassal or not, but perhaps it would have been in your interest to release a vassal somewhere. I'm not sure what's... Yeah, there's one or two like OPM things to release that maybe you could have fed and helped you save on some admin to... But I don't know. You started converting some of your provinces, but not really yet. Yeah, you have all the Turkic cultures promoted, so that's not really a problem. Or shouldn't be. But you're looking very, very fragile, so hopefully your two allies here are enough to keep you up, but I believe this Persia is going to be coming for you. Persia is currently fighting Imereti, and I imagine after seeing this Georgia snake, they're going to make their own Persia snake around the Caucasus and cut you off from the north. So, as I understand, Persia and Russia are fairly chummy, so I don't think Russia would help you in an offensive war, but perhaps there is a way for Byzantium to negotiate.
Persia is not at war with Imereti, they're at war with Uzbek, and Imereti is a vassal of Uzbek.
Okay, yeah. More or less the same thing, but they can still grab land from that. So I guess it's... Which do they...
They're getting stuff from Uzbek.
Yeah, they're getting stuff from Uzbek, that's obvious, but you're Russia, and you have some sort of agreement with Persia, correct?
Yeah, we got border agreements, yeah.
Yeah, so if that's there and he is happy with it or believes it, then he should probably... if he grabs... Well, yeah, I don't know if north of the Caucasus is yours or not.
That's mine. South is his.
Okay.
But
Fair.
he gets the Dagestan forts because he's scared, just in case. But we're cool.
Fair enough. Because, yeah, were I him, I would want... Maybe you just take those and never turn them into states and sell them to you later, just so you can force a border with Persia or with Byzantium here. And that's some mountain forts as well for him to put on directly on the Byzantium border as a staging ground. So that's something that he could do, and if I see that as Byzantium, I would be shit scared. So yeah, this is looking like a country in serious need of help. Yeah, you've got a lot of cores that you need to... Oh yeah, you don't have the power for those cores, so you also have your diplomats doing nothing, so I would immediately spy on whoever is your rival and has tech. So yeah, Persia's got your tech above you, so just send a spy to them and get that tech discount, because I mean, your mill tech is okay, but you need to get your ideas up. If you're going to be a whole mill idea group behind your enemy, that is not where you want to be. But yeah, Byzantium needs serious help. Let's move back north. We'll come back to Jerusalem later. So I looked at Poland's vassal Prussia, but I didn't actually look at Poland, which was a little bit silly of me. They seem to have the standard idea set. They're a little bit behind in them, missing out on their monarch points from the estates, and their alliance is with two relatively small powers. Byzantium, who, let me see if Commonwealth wants them to keep them around. They're going to have to put some serious blood and sweat into keeping them alive, as well as Westphalia, which not in the worst position, but they're not exactly an ally that can punch at the same weight level as you. Poland, our force limit, 160, so not terrible. Manpower quite high, but depleted from recent wars. However, you did manage to keep all of your prosperity, which is fantastic. It should help keep your money up, but as part of whatever crazy agreement you had with Russia, you gave up 2 full states of provinces to him, and you're now not his ally. So, were I you, that would be a little bit worrying. Our crown land needs to start being bought up as well. King, unfortunately, is...
I would like to say he's the one who broke the alliance with me, not the other way around.
Okay. Hopefully he has something planned then, because... yeah, as it is, it's not looking to... I mean, I don't agree with that, but I don't know what he's planning. What's he doing on tech? A little bit... he's where he's supposed to be, that's fine, but this is the normal Polish problem of, one, being a little bit poor. Does he have the Polish crown? Yeah, he does have Polish crown, but he's not making any money. Okay, he's put his production up a good bit, and yeah, and Russia stealing a lot of his money from Kiev, which I guess goes with the territory of breaking that alliance, and you are not really, yeah, you're outclassed in the Baltic trade node, which is unfortunate. Are you able to transfer trade power from... oh, yeah, it's bugged. So this should be Brandenburg, and it's a march, but I don't know if you can transfer trade power from a march. I forget whether or not. But, yeah, not making any money is a bit of a problem, and we have the lowest advisors as well, so we're falling quite behind on mana point generation. So that should worry me. And, oh, yeah, you've got a lot of manufactories to make on all these cloth provinces. Yeah, quite a lot of money can be made. You have... oh, that is... what? Why is that being weird? Yeah, still a lot of cloth provinces to build up manufactories as well, so there's a good way to increase your income, but you've got to make money to spend money. So yeah, were you try and find some way to increase your money. I don't know if you can make a trade agreement with Sweden or not, but yeah, being in the Eastern European Thunderdome without yeah, after losing your alliance with Russia means you're now potentially surrounded on all sides by enemies, and you're not rich enough to fight them off. So I don't think you can build up your crown land. You have to start selling that to fund your things. Do you have... oh, that's definitely not good. You've got your monopolies still. I suppose that was because of the war, but that is definitely going to be a bit of a problem. And oh yeah, that's where it reduces your income by probably a good bit, as you should have lots of livestock in this land, correct? Wait, where's the trade goods? Yeah, huge amount of livestock. So that was likely like 1,000 or 2,000 ducats or something, I have to assume, but yeah, I guess once that is revocable, your income will go back up. So yeah, the problem once again is Diplo, as there's lots of land that you would like. You would like this land of Hungary, you'd like this land of Bohemia and Sweden and Russia, but you're definitely not strong enough to take any of it by yourself, based on the existing alliances. So you'll have to try and get your way to someone that's willing to help. Probably easiest thing is some sort of friendship with France that allows France and Italy to get chunks that they want from Austria in exchange for your own chunk. And you should definitely grab a gold mine out of that deal. That will, especially one that's been devved up to 13, because that's a whopping 9 income alone from one province. So that definitely, I think, is the best way to go. But then it's whether or not you trust having Russia at your back in a war or not. Then again, you can also possibly betray your Byzantine ally, work with the Persians, and grab a nice chunk of the Balkans. So a few options, but they will all require a good bit of work. So now let's move down back into the Middle East. And what is Jerusalem? Jerusalem tag. Searching. Stupid Chrome isn't working the best. Freezing on me. Alright, while my phone Chrome is being crap. Oh, there we go. There, now it loads up after I decide to go to Persia. Jerusalem is Knights of Jerusalem. KOJ. Alright, makes sense. So, our Epirus player has made his way into the Holy Land. He has formed Jerusalem and is, as one would expect, a fairly weak and not very relevant country. He's done a decent job of carving out his chunk of the Mamluks. He's gotten Cairo, which is fantastic. He needs to get the autonomy down a little bit. Alexandria, not making a lot of money yet, because of all that devastation from the wars. So, but if he's given enough time and he's able to eat up the rest of these provinces in Egypt, he should be able to start making a decent amount of money. And you see, he's only at 27 ducats with a small army, so he's very much at the mercy of his neighbors. He is allied with Persia, which is good for him. He's stayed Catholic, true to his Crusader route, so I definitely think buddying up with Persia and possibly the Rassids is a good way to go, although long term you might want to try and convince Persia to support you against the Rassids, as you're going to quickly run out of territory. Andalusia is going to be bordering you here, and it appears that the Rassids are moving into Ethiopia, so that might block you off. As for ideas, you started going exploration, I believe, but I think that idea may have been abandoned. So you've now got religious, quantity, and trade. So none of which you've gotten fully set up yet. You've done a nice job of getting all your crown land sorted too, although you're still not getting your monarch points. High power projection, which is nice. And very nice air coming. That's 11 points, 13. Yeah, maybe worth abdicating now just to get some extra years of more air points, and probably can afford the level 1 advisors. think you should do that until your truce with Mamluks are up. How long is that? 10 years, unfortunately. So perhaps there is a way for you to start. Oh yeah, there isn't really anyone else you can deck on. Are they allied with anyone? Yeah, you can't get a CB on those, so unfortunately, Territorial, you are stuck unless you can get Persia to help you and take some land from Byzantium. So it's going to be a while until this country is more relevant, unfortunately. Just not trying to be mean, but that is the way it is. So we can move on to someone a little bit stronger. Persia started as a jam. They have integrated most of their vassals in the region. They are currently mopping up the last bits of the Hordely Horde. So I understand. Yeah, they have their Timurid vassal that has all of these awesome cores to feed back to it. So those are nice wars. You're not able to see the gold mine in here. Politically, we are not currently allied to Russia. However, as was previously stated by the Russia player, we have quite good relations with him.
We're going to re-ally like day one. He had to unally me to ally Austria to save them for a little bit from the Polish player.
Okay. So
Persia
Persia was actually committed in that war.
Yeah, Persia was the thing that saved Austria, actually.
Okay. So yeah, I'm not really... So Commonwealth went in against Austria with who? With Byzantium?
Commonwealth, Byzantium, and Italy all decked on Austria.
Oh, damn.
And then Austria only had Persia.
Yeah.
And Persia knocked out Byzantium and then was able to get troops into Austria and pretty much saved them until the French enforced peace.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I actually had like Black Flag troops, like a third of my army, and I couldn't get access through anyone else. So I had to just like send those, and they had to occupy something to give me an occupation. Because I was completely blocked off, because Russia couldn't give me access because of probably diplomatic reasons.
Yeah, well, I agreed to not screw over Poland until 1580, so like I feel like giving Persia access would have like violated that agreement.
Yeah, that's up to interpretation, and I guess you decided to follow the spirit of the agreement rather than the letter.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, my manpower is really low right now because like some of the AI around me like has like pretty strong alliances, and they still have pretty big armies as well. So like I kind of underestimated them.
Yeah, and there's lots of mountain and desert forts and things like that for attrition too. But
yeah, and I'm actually planning on. Wait, is there anyone in here? That I don't think so. I'm actually planning on vassalizing AQ, so I could do reconquest on Georgia.
Oh yeah, that would be good. So I assume if you already beat Byzantium once in an allied war,
the problem is that Byzantium's guaranteed by France, but the original France player is coming back, I think. So I don't know if he's gonna keep that or not. Yeah,
well, that's definitely worth talking. But yeah, were you to get most of Byzantium, then you'd be quite strong. Yeah, right now you're.
Is this a real game? Is this like a real game? Is this a competitive game? Is it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know how competitive.
I don't know
if
competitive is the right word, but it's definitely a real multiplayer game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just on those. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not exactly doing free super co-op, but I don't think the spirit is everyone min-maxes to the most type of thing. So
okay.
Ganks do happen, but I think they're generally discouraged and such. But yeah, you seem to be, at least for now, on like the low end of a strong power. Like you've got 120 force limit. Your manpower is not bad at all, but I think you probably have a good bit ways to build up. Like you've got all these silk provinces to build your manufactories on. Persia should be a rich trade node, and once you kill those AI nations, as long as Russia doesn't send you a merchant, like you shouldn't be losing any money at all from here. So that's going to make you strong. Workshops you built quite a lot of. That's good. yeah, you've gotten pretty much PVE, so that makes it great for you to ramp up. Your income is on par with France's with a lot lower dev. Your dev's only 750 compared to 1,000, and you're making the same amount of money. So strong country. You have border agreements with Punjab and with Uzbek. I don't know. You're allied with Rasids, who are a bit weaker than you, and I know you are friendly with the other Indian player. So.
Oh, no, I'm gonna kill Vigianigar actually.
Oh, really? I'll be sure. I'll make sure. I'll edit it out so he doesn't hear this.
All right, cool.
All right. Note to self: betray Persia. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, if France continues guaranteeing Byzantium, then it's not the worst thing for you. There's still plenty of miners to eat up, and you'll be able to take the Timurids, and depending on exactly what your border agreement with Russia is, you can move into some more of the Horde lands. So I don't think you would just say, yeah, everything. Yeah, I don't think you'd say like everything north of where the current border is his. That would be a bit overly generous to me. But yeah, you've got Baluchistan to eat, maybe some more bits of Arabia that don't belong to the Rasids as well. So even if you're blocked off by Byzantium, it's not the worst thing in the world. So I think you're in a pretty strong position, especially compared to all the people in the European Thunderdome. So let's move on and check out the Rasids. So Rasids have not really grown by that much. They've gotten basically all of the coast for Aden, so now they're actually making a good bit of money. That was their problem last time. They are going exploration and expansion. So, I guess if they're just playing PvE, that's fine. Like, there's lots of lands and empty provinces for them to colonize if they so wish. They can get to Australia, as no one is really colonizing this game, and once they get more of Africa, there's tons and tons of empty provinces for them to take over. So obviously Ethiopia is their main AI enemy. Why is our power projection so low? What are our rivals allowed to be? Some reason. Why aren't we able to rival Ethiopia? I would have thought that made. Well, either way, maybe after the truce you can rival them again and get your power projection up. We're not quite making enough money to run the best advisors, but it could be worse. Probably need to take some more look at your estates and start getting your crown land up. You're going to want to start selling to the nobility soonish. Yeah, force limit not really high yet, so I don't know yet. Just need to PvE for a while until you're stronger. Not really too much else to say. You'll get your ideas finished up, and curious if you're going to try and finish them all and go full colonizer, because you can tons of land in the East Indies to colonize, or if you're just going to leave them on a little bit and then move into something more militaristic later. That's an option, as Rasid's military ideas are really good. You got manpower, infantry combat, you've got some morale, you've got some shock on the leaders, and we've got some massive shock received, which is fantastic. First idea is offensive, which is interesting. I don't know who took that, but I don't know if that's the best. I mean, discipline is nice, and making your leaders better is kind of nice, but I don't think it's the best mill group. A little unorthodox, but nice to see someone try something different. How's our devastation? Yeah, you've got your prosperity going here, so that's good. Probably want to finish off Yemen, who's just in your... kind of like a pimple on your land. But... yeah, just gotta keep expanding. That's not too much to say here. How we can finally move on into India. So, first we'll look at Punjab, who has consolidated his most of his area. There's still a few AI in the Doab region. Drawnpur is still alive, so that's some nice AI for him to eat up. He has still got his estate kind of all squiggly, but his crown land is high, so he can start boosting his manpower. Income is probably a lot lower than it should be. You also have your war taxes on. I'm not sure if that's a mistake or not, but probably want to get rid of that, as we don't want to lose too many mill points. And yeah, we're behind on all of our tax. I guess a lot of land to eat, so not terrible, but we're also, it kind of makes us a bit vulnerable if our neighbor to the south or neighbor to the west were to move in on us. Probably also want to just get ourselves a mill advisor. How are we doing? Average autonomy of 34. Now that is a problem. That is definitely something we want to fix. Yeah, we'll have lots of rebels for a while. But... wait, why does autonomy go up when I click lower? Is that just a bug? Fuck.
Those provinces probably aren't cored, I think.
Oh, yeah, they're not stated.
Stated, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that's definitely something you need to do. We need to state everything that you haven't got stated. Who cares about governing capacity? That is not a relevant mechanic. We can core all those things. Yeah, geez, why is our governing capacity so low? Are we not a kingdom? Yeah, okay, so we need to get our prestige higher so we can go kingdom and increase our governing capacity. And we definitely need to start promoting some cultures. Oof. Alright, we don't have the Diplo to do that just yet. But, yeah, let's keep... Alright, that hasn't updated. Has money updated? Not really, okay, but... yeah, there are definitely a few things we can do to get you making money, increase our really low manpower, and get our force limit up to something a little bit more respectable. Not sure what's happened with this. Maybe that was just disinheriting heirs, which if they're terrible, makes sense. Yeah, we've got good king, decent heir, so we don't need to disinherit much at all. Yeah, so we've got a good bit of vassals. We got Mawar, we got Kalippi, we've got Gorkha. Can't fight you, I believe, as they are Ming tributary. But we can probably beat up on Drawnpur after our truce. Do we have a truce with them? No, we do not. So, yeah, probably I would deck on Drawnpur as soon as I can. If you, whether or not we have the power to start coring the land, or we want to do that or not. We want to fight them a bit, take some peace deal, get our prestige up so we can up our governing capacity so we can start coring more land ASAP. What am I looking at? Yeah, are we able to have Drawnpur as a rival? No, only have Persia as a rival, so unfortunately we can't really get your power projection up too much higher. Yeah, we've got quite a lot of dev in this country, but we need to make better use of it. Also we're collecting in Lahore, pushing from Doab. We're losing out on all of our money in Sin. So who is... Yeah, okay, so might be better if we can start collecting in Thata, or perhaps if Persia's able to push all of our money into their Persia trade node, that might be a better way of making money, some sort of trade agreement, if you can do that. If we, move your trade capital into Lhasa, steer trade from Gujarat and Lahore into Hormuz and into Persia. If you do that, I think... So what is... Yeah, that probably should be able to get at least 15 ducats out of that trade deal were you to do that. So maybe that's something to do. Otherwise, how are we doing on buildings? Yeah, we have tons and tons of places to start building up our workshops. That should go a long way to making money as well. Manufactories, yeah, we don't have the tech for that, so that's going to be a little bit. Probably want to get our other diplomats spying on someone with higher tech for the discounts, yeah, because we want to get that textile manufactory for all of these silk and cloth provinces, of which there are quite a bit. So that's, yeah, look at all these silk provinces. Dyes as well, that's a tech 11. So if you can, maybe start trying to bank your money. I think it would be useful to sell your titles for that. Oh, yeah, our Jane's really, really low. That's definitely going to be hurting income, and because if you get your loyal Janes, that's building cost reduction. So I think you need to give some privileges to them, and I don't think having the high crown land serves you well when you can be making some more money, and that will snowball you a bit more than just manpower, because you can't really afford your force limit or not. And some work to do. You've got a lot of good land, so this can be a strong country. It just needs to be managed a little bit better, I think. So let's move on to Vijayanagar. If you remember from last session, we had another player here in Bengal. Now he is gone. As the Vijayanagar player, I can tell you, I noticed that I was basically earning 3 times the amount of money as he was, and I had better army quality in every category. So pretty much within 3 months of session start, I decked on him and knocked him out. So I've fought 2 wars against Bengal, and the first one I just took 1, 2, 3, 4 trade nodes or provinces, and that basically killed him because he wasn't able to make money anymore from that. And without any real allies, he was allied with Punjab, who I pretty much paid off and told not to fight the war, and he was too weak to really do anything. And his ally was Uzbek, who died and was bankrupt at the time anyway, so he was forced to 1v1 a country that was 3 times as rich as him, and that does not bode too well. And we can look, I've only gotten richer. I'm the richest country in the game. I've got just under 200 ducats a month coming in, making 90 of that, and I've got very good heir, very good king. I should probably boost up my advisors. I can probably put them to level 4 as well, but I believe I just got finished building most of my manufactories, yeah. Yeah, so I've gotten a lot of manufactories done. My workshops are basically everywhere, and anything that's not grain. I need to start building some more barracks, but they're mostly there. And I think I'm pretty well positioned to be the strongest power in the east. I don't have any enemies to here. I think Punjab is too weak to really be any sort of threat. Persia's on relatively friendly terms, and the same goes for the Rasid. So more or less my main goals are to start moving into the unoccupied land, finish consolidating Bengal, and my two vassals here of Ahmednagar and Bastar. And then once I can actually get vision of Europe, which I currently don't have, I can maybe start throwing my weight around a bit more. Yeah, I also have my vassal of Pegu, who I've started feeding most of the Malaya trade node, so I'm stealing all of that money now. And if you remember that, the amount of money in the English trade channel and compare it to this, so with no colonial powers really playing, India is super wealthy still. So I don't really have anyone in this region that can hold a candle to me. So I think let's move on to our second to last player of Korea. Korea is sorry, not really so much bigger than he was before, but he's had to spend quite a lot of time deving up institutions. So he should have a couple of very high dev provinces here. So 43 dev capital there. That might be it's just as good as Beijing, so it might be one of the highest in the game. He is going to be trying to fight Ming soon for all that juicy China land, and we've taken about half of Japan, so we need to work on consolidating that. Ideas, we have eco, quality, and interestingly to me is the maritime one. Don't know if it's necessary, but definitely when you take all of Japan and all of this Chinese coast, your naval force limit is going to be strong. I don't think it's necessary because, as we saw in Europe, there's not really anyone that can be anywhere close to his power level. Probably. Yeah, we're missing the mill power. I think some things can be a little bit better managed in the States. But yeah, I think the big thing with Korea needs a war against Ming to go into the Bank of Ming. Spying. Does not appear to be any manufactories that he can really build. Yeah, we got the one silk province, but I assume actually not behind on techs, which is pretty impressive for having to dev all your institutions yourself. I know he should probably take these as soon as he's able to, and as soon as he's able to take these techs, we're going to have the printing press spawn, which unfortunately he's going to have to then spawn himself again as my phone keeps going. But his prosperity should be good. Yeah, he's making quite a bit of money from all this Japanese trade. Maybe he wants to probably... Yeah, because there's so much land from decor, I definitely think you should... your next war against Japan, whatever you get, just get yourself a vassal. And I know what we're planning. I was planning on helping Korea along with Russia and Punjab, and we'll do a 4-way war on Ming. And as Ming has absolutely zero mandate right now, that should be a good bit of cash injection for everyone.
Don't forget to talk about Russia.
Oh, you're right. I did miss Russia. I know there was also Songhai after that. But I guess I've talked about Russia so much by proxy because there's such a massive presence that I kind of felt like I already did them. But first thing, yeah, tech's fine, a little bit behind, but you're eating lots of stuff. You just a few ideas away from finishing all your idea groups. And you've got your Siberian frontiers going, which is nice. What are we doing? Yeah, all your estates look great. You can probably start seizing that land. Or, depending on how you're doing for money, you might need it for buildings. You've got your production up and your trade a little bit. Your gold mine's not too hot, though.
Yeah, just depleted.
Oh, just depleted? Okay, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens. But, yeah, you debit back up to 10. Sure. Then we're back in the good bit of money. Although, what else is there to do? Yeah, we got a lot of states you can still put in. Yeah, in the governing capacity to spare. I suppose you're just hurting on the admin points.
Yeah, it's admin points.
Yeah. Well, oh yes. Yeah. So if you can't state them, then there's, I guess, no point. Any reason you're holding off on hitting, say, moving your capital?
It's a 300 prestige whenever I need it for a war, so I'm saving until I have to have a fight a big war.
Fair. Yeah. Do we have any good missions coming up? Oh, okay, yeah. So you get this whole bunch of free claims and other things once you integrate Ryazan. Are we gonna inherit them? Oh, okay. 4 years you can start inheriting them. That's fine. How's our prosperity? Yeah, you stayed out of the European war, so you're making bank. Although, wait a sec. If they're not core... Yeah, maybe if you... Yeah, I think you can state all of these things, and then their prosperity starts going up, while they're not... Right? Yeah. Yeah, okay, no, yeah. So even if you can't core them, you should definitely state that stuff just to start the prosperity working on it. And you've got power projection still for a little bit, which is nice. Not really any way that you can probably send that. Although you could probably, if you have any boats anywhere, you could privateer someone. Buildings wise. Yeah. Built some amount of your production buildings, but it's just because everything is either grain or fur, and you haven't gotten the fur price increase yet. You're not going to be really making that much money. So, what's your king? Yeah. Maybe there... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, and you're focused on admin. Maybe what you could try to do is fall behind on your dip tech, as I don't really think that's something you care about. And because I know there's a fair bit of iron provinces around, and some copper, and maybe if you dip tech those up once you get your eco policy done, you can that'll help you with your money a little bit, especially if you're able to do it in the Kazan and oh yeah, huh. Wait, where's your other merchant? Samarkand and Kiev. And yeah, you're losing all this money from Astrakhan.
I'm aware. It's actually a problem because AIs are putting their merchants in Astrakhan, which are like, if I take the merchant out of Georgia, I get to 40% of Astrakhan. That's how much they're taking away. Even though they don't have any land in fucking Astrakhan or Crimea, really.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's because of Caravan. Caravans is weird.
That's the Caravan's the problem.
Yeah.
And I also don't own any of the trade centers yet, so. Because I've been feeding in Central Asia, Kazakh and Transoxania.
Yeah.
With my wars against the Uzbek.
Yeah. Have you checked if it's better to move your Kiev guy into Astrakhan? Because
I've checked. It's slightly more profitable. It's like half a ducat worth more to be in Astrakhan.
Yeah.
Or in Kiev.
Yeah.
Kiev.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Right now, well, at the very least, you should send Samarkand into Astrakhan because he's just sending. Oh no. Yeah, it is going to Astrakhan. Because that money.
Yeah.
Just,
if I don't put a merchant there, then it just goes into Persia, which I guess is not the worst thing to do on my ally, but like.
Yeah.
So keep money in me.
Yeah, I think you need to prioritize your own money as it is because you're poorer than Persia, so.
Yeah, but I got like huge vassals. I got a lot of things going for me. Manpower's not bad. It's gonna get better once I get to negative 30% dev cost.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like you're great. It's just money is your problem. So, are you gonna go trade next?
My phone's glitching out here. Can you hear me still?
Yeah. I asked if you think you're gonna go trade next.
Oh yeah, trade's definitely the fourth idea. Is Russia gonna get those merchants, get them in Astrakhan and.
Yeah, and then you just chain them from Siberia, Yumen, all the way into Novgorod or into the White Sea.
I should be getting parts of China, too. So, White Sea is awful. Just leaks into British stuff.
Yeah, but then this leaks into Baltic Sea unless all the miners down here are dead. Yeah, no, once the miners are dead, and as long as Sweden's
not taking stuff from them, no.
Yeah,
that was part of our agreement for me to stay allied to them.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's good. So just. Once all these Germans get their act together and kill the miners for you, then you'll be good. Although Sweden's got Lubeck as a vassal, so they'll probably be stealing quite a bit of money from you over time. But for now, it's just
much.
Just
not much about that though. You know, just got to keep on feeding vassals to keep my admin reasonable.
Yeah,
and I'll be fine.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Maybe you can also up some of these centers of trade eventually.
I think manufacturers are worth more right now. Like get my copper and iron ones, then I'll probably start upgrading trade centers. I think.
Yeah.
That's my plan.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
I built like 5 manufacturers so far. Well, I built 2, but like 3 are building right now. So.
Yeah, and you got a lot more iron that you can still do, and some salt ones. But yeah, money is definitely your thing. So. Hopefully wait, we did get the fur price, but there's another fur price modifier coming in, right? It goes up
that one's the 40% one.
Yeah,
which is the big one.
Yeah, is there anything you can do to influence that, or is that just a time base?
It's just a time thing.
All right. Yeah, I thought so. So not much that can be done about that, but you're definitely I guess. Other than France, the strongest power in Europe by a long shot. It's definitely France probably tied with you, although they're probably stronger since they have more money.
France is stronger now, but they have less scalability because they're literally surrounded by players now. So wherever they go, they have to. I think and Devon's probably better for them now than expanding the players.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, although the thing is, France can probably just kill Andalusia as it stands.
He helped Andalusia a lot. He gave Andalusia 2,000 ducats and 1,500.
Yeah.
Him and they're good friends. I don't know why they're not allied right now, but I don't know. If I was France, I'd kill GB, honestly.
GB looking kind of weak. I agree. And if Sicily's pissed at him, then there's a navy right there.
Yeah, I mean that's literally free real estate. It's great. Provinces you got your iron. It's good cultures to accept too because they're so big.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all around great.
Yeah, I mean it's in the name, right?
It is.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, you're probably gonna have a fun game. Another 20, 30 years, you'll get your economy up with your trade ideas, and I gotta say, even down in India, I'm a bit scared of you.
I'm so friendly with the agents. I love the agents. We're all gonna be great friends.
Yeah, no, I definitely hope it stays that way. So we'll look at the last nation, and certainly the least. It's the Bank of Songhai, who has basically taken has Africa to himself. The Mali player moved on to Brazil and is busy doing colony stuff, which is kind of boring, so we're not looking at that. He is well behind in ideas, as you would kind of expect from all this massive expanding. Like, how's his... Oh, he's actually caught up on his tech a little bit. So, that's good. He's gone expansion just for all of the colonists. Not normal stuff. Does it get... Can he form Sokoto in this? No, he can't. There's no... Not sure how that works. So he's just going to stay as Songhai. Songhai has pretty decent ideas. Morale, compatibility, trade power, which is not bad. Oh yeah, and the good thing with him also is, like, without any colonial players, he's not going to get... He could actually maybe collect in Ivory Coast and make use of that money because Portugal's dead. Yeah, he's moved into the Congo, got lots of vassals. Curious if he's going to also try and get down into these gold mines. Yeah, money-wise, he is... I think he's the second richest in the game. He's got 3 gold mines, giving him more income than some players that we've seen. And yeah, I guess it's kind of a free game. He's not really allied with any players other than Brazil, who isn't a threat. He can theoretically move into Andalusia or make friends with them and then just have the rest of Africa for himself. He is now going to be on the border with these AI, and then you can get into Ethiopia for even more gold mines. So seeing this were Irasids, I would be a little bit concerned and definitely try and speed up my my conquering. Although, it is your vassal, so your vassal has blocked off Songhai, but Songhai is massively stronger than you, so you would need help to stave him off if you wanted to. Have you done any deving Songhai? Not really, just a few provinces deved. Oh, okay, 44, that is the highest dev we've seen yet to spawn institutions, and we've got another one coming down the line. Yeah, still lots of things to take as well. What is it that I was looking at? Crown land quite low, so you've been spending lots of selling crown lands probably for buildings, and actually there are basically no buildings. Yeah, that is the correct button. Why do you not have any workshops built? Not really any barracks. Some temples, but that's probably AI. And you can't really build any... What's going on? Slightly confused. Does he have the tech yet for that? Yeah, he does have the tech. There is some amount of cloth here, isn't... Okay, no, yeah, he has built up the manufacturers that he can. There we go. It was just a little bit odd, but... No, yeah, he is quite rich. Manpower is massive even without those buildings. Army force limit just sitting a little bit at 100, as he hasn't spent much time deving, but it's a strong country. He has huge amount of territory and building slots, so he has massive scalability if he's able to fund it. He's not making a huge amount of money yet. Probably needs to spend some time deving up some of those ivory provinces, and I would consider maybe moving your trade node here. If someone kills Portugal and agrees to not take ivory, you could maybe make quite a bit of money, as your Ivory Coast provinces are where a lot of your good trade goods are. Like, all this ivory is in Ivory Coast. Same with it here, and then coffee and whatnot, so kind of a shame to miss out on it, but that is just the geography. yeah, I guess we can zoom out and see our overview of the world. Definitely, probably France is currently the strongest military power out of anyone, although we see they're a little bit boxed in by their own alliances and other players. Russia has got tons of room to expand and will be scary if they can fix their economy. Songhai is also a power in waiting once they get their buildings up and can actually reach people. Austria as well, probably the second power in Europe with their two player personal unions, but they are missing land for themselves. Commonwealth, strong but quickly being eclipsed by some other neighbors. I think Persia doing quite well, and Vijayanagar most player dev for now, and likely going to stay that way with all that free land. So thanks everyone for listening, and hope you all enjoyed it.